Hey kids, this is Aaron from the podcast that wouldn't die, and Kevin and I use Zencastr. You think you're better than us, that you're using something else? You're wrong. Zencastr's the place to be. Who are you to deny it?
It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencastr. Log in using your browser and start recording a high-quality podcast right away. Record studio-quality sound and up to 4K video with your guests. Go to zencastr.com/pricing and use our code DIEHARD and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencastr paid plan. We want you to have the same experiences we do for all our podcasting and content needs. It's time for you to share your story.
Only a fool will give up a chance for a 30% discount.
There's someone out there. No one knows his name. No one knows his face.
Oh, no.
But now, the most terrifying man in the city
Officer! Officer! Oh, thank God it's you.
carries a badge.
Welcome to the latest episode of the podcast that wouldn't die. I'm your host, Kevin. With me, as always, is Aaron.
Hi!
This week on the podcast that wouldn't die, we discuss the horror classic Maniac Cop.
Dude, I'm totally surprised. This is just the same as all your other movies.
Starring...
To hear your nonsense, I thought this would be on your top 10 list.
I'm still doing my intro, young lady.
I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Starring Tom Atkins, Bruce Campbell, Richard Roundtree, Laureen Landon, and Robert Zedar. It's an all-star cast.
Laureen Landon's my favorite.
Each week on the podcast that wouldn't die, we discuss guilty pleasures and forgotten classics with a comedic twist of the horror and sci-fi genres. I messed it up. You get the idea.
You get the idea, don't you?
Aaron, how's it going? What's the latest with you?
Working for the weekends, friend.
Everybody's working for the weekend.
It's the first month I got paid, so then I spent all my money. So now I gotta wait for the second month where I get paid.
On meth? I mean, what'd you...
On meth. On meth. Coffee's too expensive.
Meth is cheaper. Absolutely. 100%.
No, I'm more of a mellow gal. No, just nonsense. Flying around. I'm going to a music festival next weekend,
That's... You do nothing if not go to music festivals all the livelong day. Am I wrong?
It's true. And halfway through it, I always mutter to myself, F this shit, I'm tired and hot, I'm going home. And then I sit down for a little while, and then I'm like, bing!
And then you're back.
12 hours, here we come. This time I'm going with two of our sibs and their families, and we're apparently missing most of it, including Dog Star, which kind of wanted to see.
Who are the bands other than Dog Star?
The headliner is Pearl Jam, and it's Crowded House. It was supposed to be Garbage, but they dumped, and Devo.
What a weird collection of musical...
Yeah. And Dog Star, which is the Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves,
band.
Yes.
So I was there for some Keanu.
And how much are the tickets?
$200 or something. I
This
think
the
I paid
festival or
$189. Yeah, it's a 3-day festival. I just bought tickets for Friday.
Oh, gotcha.
I think Pearl Jam headlines again on Sunday or something like that.
I remember, as somebody who was in high school in the early 90s when grunge was really taking off.
Right.
I found Pearl Jam was the one band that I found reasonably palatable of that era. Because they seemed, their music seemed like real music. You know what I mean? It wasn't
he's got a great voice. You got to give it to him. I was Pearl Jam over Nirvana. Not that
100% I was. 100%.
Not that I didn't care for Nirvana, but
I didn't really care for Nirvana. I thought it was a lot of... there were songs that I enjoyed more than others, but there were definitely... It was a lot of Screech sometimes with Kurt Cobain.
From Saved by the Bell?
It was Screech. He helped out when he played the banjo.
He did what he could.
He helped out when he could. No, it's like, and I hesitate even to call, like, in my mind, grunge is Nirvana, whereas
No.
Pearl Jam, it seems less grungy to me.
Well,
It
it's the
was
Seattle sound. You have to have your
Seattle sound.
flannel and, you know.
Absolutely. Crowded House I enjoy, but I could
Yes.
probably only name 2 of their songs.
No. Well, they have the one album.
Yeah.
But hopefully he's going to slip in and do some
Split Ends. There you
Yeah.
go.
But they're on a limited rotation. The beauty of the festival is they don't have 3 hours to torture us with new albums.
Right.
They got to get in there and they got to get out.
That's the way to do it, man.
That's the way it should be. Everybody should only be allowed to perform for like 30 minutes.
And this
no matter
is
where you go.
in my dream, I sit down in like a theater, like a movie theater with the reclinable seats, and you hit the button and it heats your bum a little bit while you do it. A band comes out for 20, maybe 30 minutes, plays only their hits, and then they leave. And then the next band that I really enjoy comes and only does.
So you're not
20 or 30.
actually moved by music or anything.
I want it to wash over me. You know what I mean?
That's the Hollywood Bowl. You're not supposed to stand up at the Hollywood Bowl.
People do. I've told you the horror story of the Hollywood Bowl. I mean, we were sitting back on the wooden
Yeah.
on the wooden bleachers.
First of all, you don't go to the bleachers. If you can't afford a seat, then
Stay the hell home.
Stay the hell home and listen to it on Spotify.
Well, that's always an option. Always an option. Anywho, give us your 30-second synopsis of Maniac Cop.
There's this cop who's like a maniac who just kills random people, not for revenge really, but because he's more of a maniac.
Correct.
And then he kind of becomes like Michael Myers at some point. So I'm pretty sure there's a Maniac Cop too. I guess he was like a Dirty Harry who was like a good bad cop that everybody liked, but he did something bad and he went to prison and he died by having his face sliced up in the bathroom. And by the way, there was a lot of naked man wrestling.
Not a lot.
A shiv to the back, and everybody liked him. So the corner at the prison just said, he's close to death. I'll just send him home. As one does in prison.
That's what does in prison.
I'm sure that was what happened to Manson. He's actually out here playing the didgeridoo and laughing and hopping around.
Playing
right
the
now.
didgeridoo. Interesting. as one does.
As
No,
one does.
you had never heard of this movie, is that correct?
No.
And you definitely had never seen it, right?
I've definitely never see it. I would say of the trauma movies that you have made me watch, this is probably one of the better ones.
Not a trauma.
It says trauma right at the beginning.
Not a trauma.
Then why does it say trauma?
I think you're hallucinating. Not a trauma movie.
Then why does it say it? I wrote it down because it said it.
I don't think it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
What
I don't think it's a trauma movie. But maybe, you know what? I'll let you look it up while I continue to do my BS.
Lord.
Growing up, I'd never heard of this movie. This movie's from the late 80s. I'm trying to think if I saw like the box at the Blockbuster. That's a possibility. I think within the last 10 years, I became very aware of Maniac Cop without having seen it. And the reason why is because it's got actors that I freaking love. It's got crazy Bruce
true.
Campbell in it. And
We
it's
all
got
love Bruce
who we
Campbell.
all love, Bruce Campbell. And it's got Tom Atkins, who I've loved ever since Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. So, and Night of the Creeps, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that. If you got those two great tastes that taste great together, this should be Lawrence of Arabia, right?
It's the Lawrence of Arabia of this kind.
It is. It should be that quality is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about it should be The Godfather, right?
Trauma Entertainment acquires James Glickenhaus North American Pictures catalog, including The Exterminator, Maniac Cop, Frankenhooker, Basket Case 2 and 3. Troma now owns it.
That's
why
what
it popped up.
that's what it is. Yeah. They did and Troma does that a lot. They did that for Bloodsucking Freaks. People think Bloodsucking Freaks is a Troma movie. It is not. They just purchased it and now control it. Is basically what happened.
Does
so
that
that's
mean now it's a Troma?
I mean, I guess they slapped their name on it when they distribute it, but
Dude, because it popped up when I watched this on Prime.
fair. So I think I saw this for the first time ever within the last couple of years, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And I remember being blinded by my infatuation for Bruce Campbell and Tom Atkins, where I'm just like,
Bruce Campbell. And he's like a tiny little baby here. He's fresh as a daisy.
He's fresh as a daisy.
He's an attractive man.
Well, he's like ripped.
Yeah.
When he's like shirtless.
But he's skinny ripped. He's not Dave Bautista.
No, you're right. He's cut. He's cut. Where it's like literally he's shirtless. You're like, he's got like pecs and muscle. I'm like, what is happening? Bruce Campbell.
And pale as a ghost from the Oregon fog.
And the thing that hits you like a bucket of cold water is how understated his performance is. This isn't crazy Bruce Campbell that we love.
No.
This is I'm trying to be an actor Bruce Campbell.
100%. And it's not winking in front of the, camera. Right. It's none of that.
Mugging. Right.
Yes.
Now, they say he's talked about how he did this movie literally only for the money, where he was like, he thought the script was lousy. So you could argue he's kind of mailing in his performance.
But it's actually pretty good.
He's not bad in it. He's not bad in it. But it's kind of a wasted thing to have him in this movie. And what's funny is you thought they must have had sequels. They had 2 sequels to this movie. Bruce Campbell was contractually obligated to appear in the second one, and he's killed in the first 10 minutes. Spoiler alert.
Was that part of the contract too?
He was like, he did not want to be in it. He didn't want to be in this one.
Then why'd you sign up, brother?
That's it. Because he got to pay the bills.
Exactly. So you committed. Don't cry about it.
Well, because this isn't the time, if I'm not totally mistaken. This is after the original Evil Dead, obviously. But this is before Evil Dead 2. This was him still trying to kind of scraping and scrounging for acting parts.
Right.
Very much, which frankly is not that different from the rest of his career, if I'm being honest. Right?
Womp womp.
Sad situation. Tom Atkins had been in a bunch of stuff at this point. So I don't know why he's in it. Although it's interesting. When he dies, I was shocked. When he's killed 3/4 of the way, spoiler alert, he's killed 3/4 of the way through the movie. I was like, whoa, what's happening? What's going on here? So.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, Maniac Cop kills everyone, including his girlfriend.
He does. Well, yes. The Bruce Campbell's girlfriend and Bruce Campbell survive. And they appear in the second one. Bruce Campbell's dead in the first 5 minutes. And Robert Davi is now the main character, the main protagonist of the movies going forward after that. So there you go. Do you know who Robert Davi is?
No.
Robert Davi was...
Is Maniac Cop.
No. Robert Davi is famously one of the Fratellis in the Goonies. He is
which one?
The pockmarked face one who's not Joe Pantoliano.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you said who's not Joe Pantoliano.
The other one, who sings opera, because he's actually an opera singer in real life, in addition to being an actor. So there you go. Robert Davi.
All right.
Good times. Why don't we jump right into Maniac Cop?
I got a lot of notes. Got a lot of notes.
Hit me.
Except for the rape victim getting killed at the very beginning.
Yes.
You're like, a girl's getting raped by hoodlums.
Attempted rape.
Attempted rape. She gets away. And the Maniac Cop kills her. I disagree with that. But after that,
you're okay with it.
After that, I'm okay with that. It's all the classic crap. You're in the morgue investigating the murders. All the guys in the morgue are creepy as F. They're all like, I enjoy that.
Well, the one mortician we meet who was talking about, look, her head's all wobbly. That was he was. I recognized him instantly. He was the head Nazi in Surf Nazis Must Die.
Oh my
So there you
God.
go.
I can't even believe you can remember that movie because I have scrubbed it from my memory.
That's a good move. That is a good move.
Dude, sometimes having a shite memory is a blessing.
One thing that you make a good point is that really there were three occasions where the Maniac Cop kills innocent people for no reason. And it kind of doesn't make sense for who the Maniac Cop is supposed to be. When we discover who he was, it makes zero sense that he's murdering the innocent mugging victim. And then there's like a traffic stop violation or something that he murders those people. And then he doesn't seem to murder any. Well, I guess he murders Bruce Campbell's wife for no reason. Well, there's a reason for that, which makes no sense. Anyway.
And okay, there's a lot that doesn't make sense,
Yes.
but you got to just roll with that.
You do.
One of the better scenes is early on. There's like a lover's lane situation where they kill the husband, and I was like, is this movie supposed to be 3D? Because then they shove him through the glass. Blood is spraying everywhere, and she's just drives off. Her boyfriend flops off.
It was clear somebody had like a squirt gun.
It was squirting.
It was absolutely. It was like, what?
This movie is fairly funny, I thought.
I beg to differ. Well, the problem is, okay, let's rewind a little bit.
I mean, it's nonsense, but all the stuff that's going on is ridiculous. I thought it was kind of funny. That scene where the squirt gun blood, just blood pouring everywhere. I was like, oh Lord.
So Matt Cordell, it is basically like Dirty Harry. Like they talk about, he was a tough cop who shot first and asked questions later. And evidently, I don't know, the public was getting pissed off with him just gunning down people in the street. I don't know. It's
a full-on Dirty Harry situation.
It is.
He's a Dirty Harry cop.
So he says that the police commissioner and the mayor kind of turn on him, and he gets sent to prison because of being a ruthless murderer, I guess is the idea.
Something.
And they could have had him in kind of, what was it, solitary confinement or
protective
custody. But he didn't want it because he didn't want to appear afraid. So he was just in general pop with all the criminals that he had abused over the years, and he gets killed. And this is the question to you, Aaron. Is he alive, Maniac Cop, or is he kind of a ghostly, like a Michael Myers type? What do you think the situation is? Because they kept saying that he survived, but then things happen. Like he gets shot multiple times and seemingly just sloughs it off.
Yeah, none of this is explained. So he wasn't dead. And so they backed up the hearse or dropped him off at his girlfriend's house.
Correct.
And then what? She doesn't seem like she has mystic powers. He's getting shot 1,000 times. He's Michael Myers. He just keeps popping back up. Shotgun, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
Totally unexplained.
Right.
He doesn't seem to speak. He was unable to speak to his girlfriend. He let her touch his hand. But how did she know where to find him? We don't know, because obviously he's not picking up a payphone. And how does he have clean clothes?
These are all important questions.
He's wearing these perfect white gloves like he's in dress uniform.
He is. You're right. I mean, it would have been so easy to be like, there was some voodoo priestess or some shit. It could be nonsense. He dumped into toxic waste. It takes 2 seconds to come up with some kind of bullshit to explain why he's an unstoppable killing machine, and they don't even give it an ounce of thought. right?
Their only explanation is now he hates everything he once loved, because they were like, oh, look out, it's St. Patrick's Day. He used to love that. Oh, no!
He's on the warpath.
He's on the
Right.
warpath, but there's no explanation how he's an X-Men now.
Now they say he's out for revenge
against random people on the street.
Right. That's the thing. Look, when they said he had brain damage or something as because of his wounds, and now he just murders everybody, but he's still very much like single-minded in purpose, because he wipes out the police captain and the police commissioner in about 7 seconds. Right? They close the door. They're talking to each other. Then suddenly he's there. Stab, stab, stab. They're gone. There goes Shaft. He kills John Shaft in about 6 seconds. So
he kills everybody. He killed an entire police battalion, office, whatever policemen call their entire office.
Off camera.
Stealth. So nobody could hear that everybody's dead and hanging from the ceiling.
Correct. Now, there was a bizarre subplot where the supernatural maniac cop is trying to frame Bruce Campbell.
For what reason?
Unclear. Now, they say the eyewitnesses, like the two Puerto Rican muggers who are arrested, say a cop did it. A big guy. Is Bruce Campbell that big? Maybe he is, and I just don't know it.
Well, he was taller than his wife. I don't know.
Oh,
but he was standing. I mean, he's probably taller than Richard Roundtree. I don't know.
Could be, because there's that other subplot where it's an extended scene of Bruce Campbell with his wife, who seems like she's crazy.
Yeah,
like she seems like she's like on pills or something. Like she's just shaky and twitchy. And honey, stay home. You need to stay home with me. It's like, but I'm on the duty roster.
But she's set up. This is a long draw setup for no reason, because Maniac Cop's wife is calling her,
correct,
trying to make her crazy.
Because Bruce
and yet
Campbell's
she's the one
affair.
who quit marriage. Yeah, she's the one who quit marriage and
marriage
encounter.
Marriage encounter. Yeah, you gave up the therapy. I was willing to go and pay for it. Right. So
but
he's
now that you aren't, I'm gonna go stick my dick places. Bruce Campbell's 6'1", so he's probably 6.
He's a Hollywood 5'10". Is that
he's a Hollywood 5'10" if I ever seen it.
Interesting. So, which is he like gets into full uniform and then walks a block and a half to the seedy motel.
Where she is doing the same thing. His little rendezvous, who looks about 20 years older than him with her weird white wig.
She does. She looked a little long in the tooth. I don't know what the story was. That's Lorene Landon, who's been in things. But I'm just like, what? It's like Karen Black or somebody, or it's like a kind of.
I wish it was Karen Black. That would have been great.
That would have been a thing. His wife gets a creepy call saying, well, the call is saying your husband's the killer. Your husband's the killer, which makes her go and follow her husband to see if he is in fact the killer. But no, he's just shacking up with another cop in a seedy motel room.
Right.
And then the wife is murdered by the maniac cop to set up the frame job. But are you a mindless killer, or are the people think you're dead? You don't have to frame anybody. Doesn't make the whole framing thing makes no sense. Go ahead.
Yeah. It only makes sense if Bruce Campbell was somehow involved with his arrest. But they don't ever say that.
No.
And she's setting it up with her boyfriend, husband, maniac, who doesn't seem to speak words. So how do you set up a plan with Lurch, who doesn't speak?
Well, she meets him from time to time on the docks. So, but the question remains: do they just meet every night at a certain time on the docks?
Hold hands through the dirty glove?
Well, look, he's stabbed to death, and evidently they also stabbed his hand. They're like, we're getting every nook and cranny.
I didn't see any hand stabbing. He got stuck in the back, and then they cut up his face so he wouldn't be pretty. But I saw pictures of the actor; he wasn't that pretty.
Well, he has a condition. He was in Tango and Cash, where he's not the maniac cop, and you can see him. It's called cherubism, where it's like it causes your jaw to be kind of huge for
Yes.
some reason. It's a medical condition. So that's his thing.
Well, he has a rocking body because the person
He's buff.
who's running around naked is pretty buff.
He is. He was buff. This movie. So Tom Atkins is the lieutenant on the force who's convinced that it is in fact a cop who's committing the murders, and that if it's not an active duty police officer, then somebody on the force is giving information to the maniac cop.
Okay, that was based on nothing, and yet it was true.
And yet it was true. Well, because it was for the frame job to work, they had to know that Bruce Campbell was having an affair with Teresa, I think, who was another cop. Because Bruce didn't tell anybody because obviously he's having an affair. And the girl he's having the affair with only told
one person.
She told one person.
Peg Leg Polly.
Peg Leg Polly, who worked in the records office. You know her. She's got the leg brace and the crutch. Oh, yeah.
And she was Cosmo Kramer's mother on Seinfeld.
She's been in something before, right? Is that all it was? A Maniac Cop directly to Seinfeld?
I was digging deep on her. She was supposed to replace Marilyn Monroe as the It Girl back in her day.
Well, that's not the woman I saw in this film.
No. But yeah, she was gorgeous back in her day.
Okay, well now I have to look.
Yes.
Was Laureen Landon, the blonde woman, also gorgeous back in her day?
I did not look her up. I got their names confused. But as soon as I saw Peg Leg Polly, I'm like, that's Cosmo Kramer's mom. Boom. I knew immediately.
They establish that she was the Maniac Cop's girlfriend from before, when he was just the regular man. He was always a Maniac Cop, evidently, but before he was supernatural.
There are degrees to this mania.
There was degrees to these mania. She was his girlfriend, and when he was sent up the river, she tossed her ass out the window because she was so distraught, and that's why she has a Jimmy leg ever since.
That's right. My love. But why didn't she just toss herself out again now that she's got it's like some kind of leg brace from 1800 that she has to drag it along like Igor. It was great.
Special shoe that Olga had in Little House on the Prairie.
It was like a step and then a metal drag. Clump.
Absolutely. 100%.
It was fantastic.
No, she's not walking a beat, but she's working in records, which makes sense. But I guess they still give you a gun. If you're a cop, you have a gun.
I guess if you're a cop, you're a cop.
If you're a cop, you're a cop all the way.
How about the part where everyone knows there's a maniac cop, so everybody who gets pulled over then shoots the officer that's pulled them over?
That was the best.
They're running out of people.
There was an investigative journalist who did a news story where she just is interviewing randos off the street who just like, cops have been beating up on me since way back when. What's different? Basically. And that was, yes, an old woman that's pulled over in her Lincoln Continental. And she sees the cop coming and reaches into the glove compartment and just blows him away. It's like some rookie, first day on the force, gets a 38 between the eyes. Very upsetting. Very upsetting.
Yeah.
And I guess
but then she was like yelling something. He was gonna kill me. It's a little turnabout for sure.
That was a funny moment, actually. Well, I mean, but that's the thing. It's like this movie is never scary.
No.
And honestly, the whole Maniac Cop shtick is not that good. Like, he doesn't ever handcuff anybody, like brutally, like murder somebody with handcuffs. Because he's got his nightstick, but he's got a knife hidden in the nightstick that he stabs people with, which I don't believe is standard operating equipment for cops.
I thought it was like one of those walking sticks that have the blade inside.
Like in Victorian England, is
yes.
what you're saying.
This is like Victorian Popo.
Pretty much. Because he has a gun, but he doesn't shoot anybody. Right?
No. And he's impervious to bullets for no apparent reason.
Right. He goes to murder Teresa, who's undercover as a hooker.
Right.
And she's evidently the nicest undercover prostitute in the world because a dude pulls over and is clearly soliciting. And he's like, well, and she asks some leading question. He goes, wait a minute, are you a cop? She's like, you got me. He's like, okay, I guess I'll go home with my family. He's like, yeah, that's a good idea. Do you catch no one? I mean, don't you have to kind of sell it that you're a hooker? Or
wasn't that like a thing in all the old movies? Oh, if you ask a cop if they're a cop, they're not allowed to lie to you. No, cops can lie all the time.
They do it all the time.
Cops can lie. In other countries, they cannot.
Right.
But in America, watch out, people coming over here to commit a crime, they can lie.
Well, they'll get you in the interrogation room and just say, hey, we got video of you committing the crime.
And your friends all confess.
They're
saying it's your idea.
They do that all the time.
Every time.
Absolutely.
This is why we have so many false confessions, I'm sure. People, they just grind you down till you're like, okay, yeah. I killed my whole family, even though I was out of town.
Well, I murdered them all with an axe. Absolutely, even though I have no arms or legs.
I have no arms or legs, but I willed it with my psychic powers.
Use my psychic powers. No, they talk about, this is not particularly funny, but they talk about how people are, poor people are arrested all the time for, kind of things that aren't that big of a deal.
Or they round up the usual suspects.
Well, they have to plead down to get out of jail so they don't lose their jobs.
Right.
So they have to plead guilty to a lesser charge, even though they're innocent.
Right.
Just so they can keep their job and not be evicted and, all sorts of things.
I think that's why we got rid of bail in California. Because if you can afford to get out, you're out. If you're poor and you're working, hand to mouth, then you're in jail.
Then you're screwed. 100%.
We're not all Diddy where we can just bounce.
We just bounced to Epstein Island after
exactly
after sexually assaulting hundreds, thousands.
Oh my God,
sweet Jesus!
I think this is going to be the end. This is going to be the end of Diddy. That's for
Thank
sure.
Goodness.
I wrote this down.
Please.
You want to see the pretty pictures?
What's that from?
I don't know. I was hoping you'd remember.
I do. Wait a minute. Because there's a scene where they talk to the mortician at the jail. And he's the one who explains how it was a shame what they did to that Cordell guy. So when I got one blip on the EKG, I released him on his own recognizance. Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's how it works. Good Lord.
Oh, sweet Jesus. What? Anything else? I'm Tap City, baby.
How's he killing with a log in his chest? At one point, he's driving a car and a whole boat sail skewers him. And he's
Correct.
cool. He's cool.
He's the Maniac Cop. Well,
he's the Maniac Cop for no reason. He's Michael Myers.
The last 30 minutes of this movie is a car chase that occurs. Because they've captured Bruce Campbell, who escaped after the Maniac Cop went on a murder spree in the police station. They finally arrest him. They toss him back in the paddy wagon, and the Maniac Cop appears, murders all those people. Wait a minute! I thought you were trying to do a frame job. No, not anymore. Murders all those people. Drives away in the paddy wagon with Bruce Campbell in the back, swerving. Lorene Landon is chasing in a police car. They stop the car, right? The Maniac Cop pulls into some warehouse on the dock because now he's going to murder Bruce Campbell for real.
Right.
And call it what? Suicide?
Right? It's called Who the Hell Knows, and for what reason, we also don't know.
We don't know. Bruce Campbell was not in on the death, right? At least in Ninja 3, The Domination, it made sense why the ninja was killing everybody. The Dominatrix. So then Lorene Landon appears, shoots the Maniac Cop. He's fine. He gets into the paddy wagon again to drive away. Bruce Campbell runs up and is now attacking the Maniac Cop from the window for some reason. He gets impaled. They go off the pier. And this seemed like a dangerous stunt. Like I thought the stuntman was dead meat because they show the truck go off like Dukes of Hazzard or something, goes off a ramp into the Hudson, wherever it is, out of the East River, and the stuntman like flops off. I could have sworn that
it went under the truck. He went under the truck, right?
I thought he was dead meat.
I
thought
wasn't
he was get crushed.
I think he was a dummy, but if you do not touch anything, Maniac Cop 2 starts. It's that same scene, but this time the body goes in a different direction. It goes straight down.
Are you lying? Are you
instead of under? No. I was on my phone and I look up. I'm like, oh, did it not end? And I see that, and I realize that's the intro to Maniac Cop 2.
Maniac Cop 2, which I didn't enjoy as much. Right. Bruce Campbell is now exonerated. Why? For what reason? Who knows? All the witnesses are dead, except for you and your girlfriend who've been saying you were innocent the whole time and no one gave a shit. So I don't know why.
So is Bruce Campbell also immortal or what? Well, apparently not if he gets killed the very next episode.
I have to admit, I fell asleep 3 times watching it.
That ain't even a thing, because you fall asleep now for every one of these. Have you considered not watching A in bed at midnight in the dark? Have you considered that? Or like at a human time? Watch it while you're at work.
I am a loving husband and father who spends time with his family, and the moment they leave the room after dinner, it is Maniac Cop time. That's all I'm saying. And then my natural narcolepsy kicks in, I'm sad to say.
You're like Dad. You're just like Dad.
It's embarrassing. It is goddamn embarrassing. Anyway, what else you got? Anything else?
I got nothing else. Let's roll.
Let's go behind the scenes, shall we? Maniac Cop. Both Bruce Campbell and Robert Zedar have the nickname The Chin. How's that for a fact?
I remember Zedar from his younger days, but I couldn't remember what it was. But I totally have seen him in other stuff. As soon as I saw because he looked familiar, but then when I saw his younger picture, I'm like, oh yeah.
Robert Zedar. First time I saw him was in Tango and Cash, and recently I saw him in the movie Samurai Cop. So you have that to look forward to.
No, I do not.
No, you do not. 3 cameras were used to shoot the St. Patrick's Day parade before the production began.
Wow.
Sam Raimi shot some of this footage, which was shown to investors to secure the money to complete the film.
Ted Raimi's in this too somewhere. Sam
Raimi is in this. He is the reporter at the St. Patrick's Day parade.
Oh, is he? Oh my God.
Sam Raimi. Yeah.
Usually if Sam's in it, Ted's in it too.
Yeah, but this isn't a Sam Raimi movie. He was just helping out his buddy Bruce Campbell, evidently.
All right.
The coroner was played by the director's real-life doctor, which explains his acting performance.
That reminds me of Ed Wood.
Yep. Although the film is set in New York, it was only shot there for 3 days, which explains why there are multiple scenes of palm trees during the car chase.
Are there not palm trees in New York? Is that what you're saying?
Shockingly not.
Oh.
We talked about this. Bruce Campbell admits that he only did the film because he needed work. He also admitted that he believed the film wasn't any good.
Well, he was wrong.
Oh, very sad. Let's see. Given the theatrical release in the U.S. at Grindhouse theaters and midnight movie showings, it did not recoup its costs until the video rights sales shot through the roof.
There you go. For sure, this is a perfect video movie.
And that ultimately led to 2 sequels being made exclusively for the home video market.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Porn and Maniac Cop.
That'll do it every time. Despite receiving top billing and being the film's protagonist, Tom Atkins is surprisingly killed 2/3 of the way through the film. It's true. Body count.
I want to say, freakishly, the only nudity is men in the prison scene.
But you do not see any dingle dangle dingle
Just
and I don't-
rumpuses.
maybe a little ass.
No,
maybe.
you saw some ass.
You saw it full cheek?
I
It was
saw
basically Slumber Party Massacre. Is
it
that
was
what you're saying?
It was the double cheek for sure.
It was crack and all. What do you think the body count for this movie was?
20.
Close, 19.
All right.
Not bad at all. Let's look at the
I'm a
cast and
savant.
crew, shall we?
Yes.
Director William Lustig. You know him from such films as he did. Evidently, most of his credits here are for acting. So let me look. Let me look for director.
Womp womp.
He is famous for directing Maniac in 1980, Vigilante in 1982.
I'm hearing a theme.
Relentless in 1989. Relentless was actually with Judd Nelson, where he was an evil serial killer. So there you go. You have that to look forward to. Written by Larry Cohen.
I did see that.
Do you know what he's famous for?
King of Schlock, but I cannot. It's something we watched recently.
Absolutely. 1976, he wrote God Told Me To.
No.
1974, It's Alive.
Yeah.
1978, It Lives Again.
Yes.
Also,
better than It's Alive.
At least funnier.
Yes. Well, that's something.
Also, in 1982, Q the Winged Serpent.
I did see that.
And 1985, The Stuff. Boom.
Can't get enough of that stuff. That's clearly
Just
the
can't
apex.
Get enough of the stuff. I love that stuff. Ain't no lie. Cast. Tom Atkins played Lieutenant Frank McRae. You know him from Halloween 3, Season of the Witch in 1982. Night of the Creeps in 1986.
Yep.
The Fog in 1980.
Oh, yeah.
And shockingly enough, the remake of My Bloody Valentine in 2009. Bruce Campbell played Officer Jack Forrest. You know him from such things as Bubba Hotep,
which is marginal. Let's be clear.
Army of Darkness in 1992.
A classic.
The Evil Dead in 1981.
That classic.
30 episodes of Ash versus Evil Dead.
Marginal.
Yeah. Laureen Landon played Teresa Mallory, Officer Teresa Mallory. You know her from such things as The Devil's Left Hand in 2023.
Does the devil have a right hand? Yeah. Bless her. Bless her.
She was Testa in Airplane 2, the sequel in 1982.
I did not see that.
Armed Response in 1986.
I missed that.
I, the Jury in 1982.
With Armando Sante?
Well, I don't know. Is he in that? I, the Jury?
Yes. That's what I think.
Armando Sante. Very good.
Boom.
Barbara Carrera, Alan
That's
King,
a real
Paul
movie.
Sorvino. Yeah. Real movie.
He had his moment.
He had his moment. Let's see who else is in this cast.
Armando Sante, not French.
No, he's not. Richard Roundtree played Commissioner Pike. You know him from such things as Shaft in 1971, a classic.
I've never seen it.
Oh, you son of a gun. He was in Brick in 2005. I'm unfamiliar.
Unfamiliar.
He was in Speed Racer in 2008.
Go Speed Racer?
And he was in George of the Jungle in 1997 with Brendan Fraser.
Who thought that was a good idea?
I always say I loved Shaft, but the one you really have to see is Shaft's Big Score. That was the second Shaft movie. It was even better, in my opinion.
All right.
William Smith played Captain Ripley. This guy's been in a shit ton of stuff. He was in Any Which Way You Can in 1980. Yep. He was Falcon Eddie in Rich Man, Poor Man in 1976. 3 episodes, if you remember that. Yeah,
I didn't see that, but I remember that was a thing.
He was Strankin... I'm going to mess up this name. Strelnikov in 1984's Red Dawn. I
did see that, but I have no memory of it.
He was
a long time ago.
56 episodes of Laredo from 65 to 67.
Unfamiliar.
It was a Western from way back when.
It seems so.
He was in a shit ton. I mean, his IMDb goes on and on and on. He was in the TV
Unfortunately
series
not
Planet
with
of the
anything
Apes.
I've seen.
He was in Black Samson. He was
Did
in the
not see
Rockford
that.
Files, $6 Million Man,
Oh Lord.
Invasion of the Bee Girls in 1973.
We've never seen that. I want to point that out.
Robert Zedar played Matt Cordell, the titular Maniac Cop. You know him from such things as Tango and Cash, 1989.
Wait, Matt Cordell is the name of his character.
Correct. His real name is Robert Zedar.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying that Matt Cordell was in the following films.
No, Robert Zedar played. They don't call him Matt Cordell, or in IMDb.
They call him Maniac.
The movie's Maniac Cop, but his character's name in the IMDb is Matt Cordell.
Yes.
So
All
there
right.
you go.
Sorry.
It's okay. He played Yamashita in 1991 Samurai Cop. There you go. He was in Untitled Horror Comedy in 2009.
Untitled horror comedy.
He was in Maniac Cop 3, Badge of Silence, which I've not seen and I'm not rushing out to see. Let's see. Cherie North played Sally Noland. That was Maniac Cop's girlfriend.
Right.
You know her from such things as Breakout in 1975. Lawman in 1971, The Shootist in 1976.
That was a real thing.
And Charlie Varick in 1973. That was Walter
Also
Matthau.
real.
That was real.
That was real. And, of course, as I said, Cosmo's mother in a couple of episodes of Seinfeld.
Okay, there you go.
She was a bathroom attendant.
Let's look at the ratings, shall we?
Let's do that.
Maniac Cop currently has 56% on Rotten Tomatoes. You know what the audience gave it?
67.
41.
No, that can't be right.
There's only 4 top critics. Let's take a look. Noel Murray of the AV Club says, it's too often a routine 80s genre piece, straight down to the synthesizer score, overlit night scenes, and bandana sporting street punks. B-. That sounds like a positive review to me, actually.
I hate it. B-.
Nick Shager of Lessons of Darkness says, a sturdy slasher flick that laces its splattery slayings with some anti-establishment undertones. B. So there you go. What is your rating for Maniac Cop, Aaron?
Maniac Cop is a wacky, makes no sense, bizarre acting choices comedy festival.
Oh, shit.
I think you need to have at least 3 out of 5 drinks to truly savor this whack-a-do.
Okay.
Aaron says, check it out.
So 3 out of 5. That's
3 out of
respectable.
5.
That's
3
respectable.
out of 5. It's just so bizarre, makes no sense. I found it entertaining and amusing.
Here are my complaints. Bruce Campbell is not the Bruce Campbell you're hoping for.
Right.
He's fine. He's acting. But it's not the crazy Ash that we're looking for, honestly. So that kind of knocks it down a little bit. Tom Atkins is good. He's doing his Tom Atkins thing. Sadly, there's no nudity. There's no him having sex in the seedy motel. Here's my ass
With Peg Leg Polly. That could have been a little bit of skin there.
Why not?
He'd be up for it.
100%. He's fine. He doesn't deliver any of his Night of the Creeps like one-liners like you would hope. Really, the comedy comes from the unintentional variety, and like you said, The plot makes absolutely no GD sense.
Nothing's explained.
Nothing's explained.
It's just a guess.
It's a sad situation. I honestly don't think it's funny enough to carry it. So I'm going to give it 2.5. 2.5 Maniac
You're
Cops.
right. 2.5 Maniac Cops. That's right.
That's all it is. Ah, sweet Jesus. Yeah, the moment you lose Bruce Campbell and Tom Atkins, there's no reason to even come to the theater for part 2. So I'm out. I'm out. So there you have it. Any last thoughts on Maniac Cop?
I just think they should have pushed it a little bit further. That wife should have been a little crazier. Everybody should have just been a little bit more.
Absolutely.
But otherwise, I wasn't bored. I was like, what the fuck? What?
It is so bizarre. Black Lives Matter, Maniac Cop. That's all I'm going to say. Although only one African American is murdered, it's Richard Roundtree. So I think he only kills white people in the course of this movie, other than Richard Roundtree. So is that good or bad? Is that progress? I don't know. Who can say?
I think it's a political film. They were discussing about the police always beating on them. So now
they get what's coming to them.
See, it was ahead of its time. It was making political statements.
Absolutely.
Not that anyone should hurt anybody.
No one should be hurt by anybody.
No, we're not saying that. But I'm just saying they might have been a little ahead of time with their message.
I tell my children, hands are for loving.
Hands are for loving. I used to say
with consent. With consent. Don't try.
Soft hands. Soft touch. Soft
Anyway,
kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur.
Okay, moving on. So, thank you very much. Go to our pages across social media. We're on Facebook, X, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, TikTok. You can also watch us on YouTube.
Yes, you can.
You see our beautiful faces. You can also email us the podcast that wouldn't die at
Gmail.
We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere the finer podcasts are available. So don't forget to like, share, rate, and review. Won't you?
Won't you please?
Aaron, what is your social media situation?
My media is this. I'm on much media, but the one you need to be aware of is I'm on the Instagram, The Cult of Aaron. Join the cult. Etsy First Dibs, Aaron Doherty. Let's go, people.
Let's go, people. As you know, we like to include comments and questions of our fans across this social media world. And responding to our episode, The Monster Squad, our friend Marty says, Wolfman got nards. I think that says it all. Don't you agree?
I think it says enough.
I think it says enough. Next week, we're discussing the Kevin Bacon horror, eerie, psychological thriller, Stir of Echoes.
I think I've literally seen Stir of Echoes 200 times. Possibly.
I've literally seen it once. So there you go.
It's coming off the Sixth Sense, all the groovy ghoulies. I like it.
We'll check it out. You can watch Stir of Echoes on Roku with ads, Paramount Plus, free with Hoopla, Tubi with ads, Plex it's free, Freeview with ads.
So I'm hearing ads is what I'll be watching this.
A couple of these are free with no ads, possibly. So check that out. Send in any favorite scenes, favorite quotes, comments, and questions, and we may talk about it on our show. Also, we should be on another podcast coming up to discuss Stir of Echoes. So you'll have to look for that. I'll keep you posted. So you get a double dip of Stir of Echoes. So enjoy that.
I like it when we go record ours after theirs, so then we can take all their points and use it for ourselves.
That's not
Kevin.
what we
I
do.
just come up with this idea just right now. Have you ever considered this? See, that's what we do.
Wrong. It's a second bite of the apple. Okay, it is a new taste sensation.
I mean, what's the second bite of the apple? It's like somebody bit into it and then spit it out, and then you bite that?
No, That's not it at all. And frankly, I'm shocked and horrified. So thank you very much and be well.
Goodbye.